Okay, let's start off by taking a look at a typical user interaction with Form Center, and we'll begin with a demonstration portal. Now, once again, this is designed to be part of an organization's enterprise portal or customer-facing portal in this particular case. And the first thing I'm going to do here is log in. So I've already got a login established. And it brings me to the user interface that enables me to do four distinct things. First of all, find forms, view my submissions, see my to-do list. So these might be partially saved forms, and also manage my account details. Now, we don't require that users be registered or logged in, but it provides certain additional capabilities. First of all, in terms of finding forms, we support a lot of different ways of actually finding forms, and these can also be custom developed to meet your exact requirements. It can be as simple as just searching for a particular form, so we can just put a search string in and see if there are any forms that actually match up. There's none that match that particular string, so change of address is one that brings up a specific set of forms. So let's go back. We can also browse forms on a department or agency level as well. So if we come in and choose here the Department of Health and Aging, you'll see we've got a subset of forms that are actually available to us. So not only can we find forms in here, but we can also browse our to-do list, and we can look at forms that we've submitted previously as the applicant and get receipts from that. So if we come back to find forms, let's choose a fairly straightforward form that enables us to interact with it. And so we'll click on that. And the first thing it does is bring us to what we call a landing page. Now, this page has got several purposes. If you're not a registered user or logged in, it can enable you to log in. It provides background information about the form itself, and all of this is configured through the administration console so that this is content that's dynamically generated and provided by Form Center, of course, branded to suit your particular requirements. But behind the scenes, there's some also very important capabilities here as well, because we also generate quite a lot of metadata here that can be used by search engines or other cataloging tools, directory tools, to catalog all of your forms as well, and that can be a very important requirement or capability as well. So let's go ahead in this case. And or the other thing I should say, we call this a landing page because if you've just got a listing of your forms in other sites or maybe in a search engine, this is the page that will bring you to, rather than just opening the form up straight away. This is the page that you get brought to at the outset. So if we go along and click complete form, the form will be actually opened up. And in this case, this is a very typical looking, what we call SmartForm, that really represents some of the best practice in forms design today. But of course, the forms can look like anything you want to. You know, some of the nice capabilities here as well is in the toolbar. There's a help section. There's some coloring used to highlight where the actual fields are themselves. That, of course, can be disabled automatically if the form needs to be printed out, so you can print it in black and white. So let's go ahead and just fill in a couple of key fields on this form itself. I'm going to skip over a lot of them and go through the form itself. This has got a couple of nice capabilities in the form itself, one of which is the injury selector, which is a more advanced capability in a form itself, because this was actually a form that we actually developed for workers' compensation claim to save the amount of money that organizations were actually needing to spend getting custom advice to customers for relatively simple injuries. It was put together a year or so ago, and this was the way that we enabled the users to interact with the form. As I say, this is all done in the PDF application with some custom programming. But you can see it's a very nice way to interact with it. And in filling in that form, it's actually building up an injury list and putting expenses associated with that. So if we come down to the end of the form itself, I'm going to click I agree with the above submissions, click on Submit. And that form will be submitted to the Form Center. So the first thing that we need to do here is actually it's asking for us to upload some attachments that are associated with the submission. So in this case, it may be a doctor's certificate or medical advice. And once again, this is another standard Form Center screen. And having done that, it brings us to our thank you or confirmation page. It tells us our receipt number. That's a configurable number, once again, that can be generated automatically. And it enables us to save a copy of the receipt, have it emailed to me, or view it back in the Form Center portal. So if I open that up with Reader for saving on my own desktop, you'll see that what's happened here is behind the scenes we've used Lifecycle Output to flatten the form. So this is now not editable, and it's in an archivable format that I can save for my own records on my local hard disk. And this document is also sent off to the appropriate agency or department or group or business process that look after that. So that's very typical. If we come back to the user portal as well, you'll see in my submission list that form will also appear within here once it's actually been delivered to the organization. From a administration perspective, Form Center Administration Console is really a very powerful administration tool to enable a multitude of people to operate the whole environment. It's really designed for operations staff, help desk operators, form developers and testers. And in fact, it's also multi-department or multi-tenanted, so that each department or division within your own organization can manage their own forms separately, and can have developers that only have visibility over their own forms. So from the operations console perspective, let's start off with that, because the first thing that we want to be able to do is track all our incoming submissions over a period of time. And if I just do a broader search than that, we'll see a whole stack of submissions that are currently flowing through the system itself. And in fact, for every submission that comes in, we can drill into the details, and you can see a whole stack of information that are fairly important from a both audit trail, security, privacy perspective, and tracking, performance tracking about the actual application, its status information, whether it's been delivered, any attachments that may be associated with it, payments, etc. In fact, let's just go back a step and let's close out of that. So that not only can we see the incoming submissions, but we can also see any requests that are being served up by the system. And this is very important because it shows us performance data coming through the system. And because we track that performance data, it also enables us to view a wide variety of reports that we collect about the system itself. So this one is actually what we call a submission trend report, and it shows or highlights the number of requests we receive versus the number of submissions that we receive. So if we change that submission date, for example, to a little earlier in the year, if we come back to the 1st of June and click refresh chart, you'll see that there's quite a large number of submissions and requests coming through the system. And of course, this data can be used in a variety of different ways. So to deploy a new form into the system, Forms can be uploaded very easily or published directly from SmartForm Composer. So if we're just uploading a form that may have been developed using either Lifecycle Designer or the Form Guide Builder, one can do that directly from within here, depending on your rights. Sample form, just give it a name. Every form has to have a unique code or ID. The type of form, so this is a dynamic PDF form. We then need to specify the Lifecycle Designer XDP or PDF file, and typically we want to associate a schema file with it as well. We choose the portal that it's going to be published through, so the GovAssist portal, and any rendering options that may be needed as part of that form. So having deployed that, we can come back in and edit a whole stack of more details about the form itself, such as a much more detailed description, whether we require signatures, how the receipt number should be generated on the form itself, if there's any special coding around that, any attachments that may be required. And the whole idea here is to eliminate any programming effort required to deploy the form. It wants to be configured through this administration console. So next, I think what we'll do is go and have a look at starting off in Composer and actually putting a form through the whole form factory cycle. So we'll go and take a look at SmartForm Composer next.